Welcome everybody to the Colorado Rockies franchise on MLB The Show 21. We are going through spring training of Season 2 today. Opening day is coming up next, but I did do some spring training streams and I have the final roster to show you today. I think that we have a more fun team in Year 2 than in Year 1 after the additions of Javi Baez, Andrew Heaney, and now starting to have players I've drafted make up the minor league system. The team looks like it's going to be better. The question is really how much. We are going to go through these spring training highlights today. Most of these are from the streams I did. If you want to watch those, they're on the channel. It's good background noise, I think, if you want to multitask or something. About 5 hours worth of streaming. But we'll go through these streams and talk about what I think is important. Starting with the new ace of the team, last year's Cy Young Award winner, Andrew Heaney, coming over from the LA Angels. And then Javi Baez at short, taking over for Trevor Story and Brendan Rodgers. And on the first ball hit to him, Javi Baez, working to his right, ends up with a throwing error, pulling Brendan Rodgers off second base. Andrew Heaney, though, gets through his first inning with a strikeout of Charlie Culberson. And we see Javi Baez take his first at-bat. He hasn't put up superstar production lately, so he doesn't have that superstar contract. It's really a prove-it deal with him here in Colorado as he tries to show he's worth one of those large contracts similar to what Trevor Story got. On to the second inning now. Baez can't field the ball cleanly, and the throw is not in time. Baez has really good fielding ratings, so this error is actually a lot more surprising than his first one. But again, Andrew Heaney gets the strikeout, that one with the changeup, and facing David Peralta, he gives him the fastball above the zone. I think Heaney gives us some much needed strikeout upside and just a proven strong starting pitcher. He won the Cy Young Award last year in the American League here in the series, so I'm really excited about this addition. For Touki Toussaint, my expectations are for him this year to try to build up some of his skills in the minor league system. He's on the 40-man roster, but I'm not anticipating him playing a lot at the major league level. We got to see how the control kind of holds him back, and there is some potential in his game, but I think that to unlock it, he needs more time in the minor leagues. We made some Rule 5 pickups this year, and Sir Anthony Dominguez was our second selection. Here he gives up a home run to new Diamondback shortstop Carlos Correa. And we'll get some hitting highlights here. Bottom of the fifth, Josh Fuentes, one of the surprises I think from last year. Just really enjoyed hitting with him. Good extra base hitter. Think he's going to be a solid starter. And Sam Hilliard as well. Not the most efficient hitter, but when he hits it, it tends to go a long way. This one doesn't quite leave. It was pretty close, showing off some of this power to opposite field. Just a little bit away from being a home run. We also added some power with Adam Duvall, trying to get some more home runs this year. Duvall has some position flexibility, and I think he'll play mostly in the outfield, but here he grounds into a fielder's choice. We did not retain Kyle Freeland in free agency. We let him go to Arizona. So here he is playing against his former team, and Ryan McMahon shows off that lefty power. He's a reverse splits power hitter. His contact is pretty equal, righties to lefties, but 69 power versus righties to 93 off of lefties. Here's Brandon Gold. He's an interesting starting pitcher who played mostly last year at AA, picks up a nice strikeout. And then Austin Gomber in the game later, a rookie last season, giving up the deep ball to right field. Carson Kelly takes him yard. I've had pretty high hopes for Austin Gomber to just be a solid ground ball pitcher, and he's done a pretty good job in real life, but it hasn't been quite the same for us here in the series. After the home run, he had even more issues just getting outs and really did not have a good outing. And we have more competition now for the starting rotation, so it's tougher for him to stay at the big league level We end up dropping this game to Arizona 5-2. On to another one here. We have Yonny Chirinos, another Rule 5 pickup. He was the first pick in the Rule 5 draft, coming over from the Tampa Bay Rays. He's put up really good numbers in his career, but couldn't get on the field for them a year ago, so we get to add him in the Rule 5 draft. Just looking for more stability in this starting rotation. His home run per 9 is one of his lower ratings, however, at just 56. So that is a bit of a concern when you're playing in Coors. The long ball can totally derail your season. But he does have good control, which should allow him to get some strikeouts similar to this one. Top of the third, my favorite swing of the entire spring training, Chris Flexen, leaving the curveball upstairs, and Hilliard launches it way out 418 feet. Ryan McMahon facing Justice Sheffield. What did we talk about earlier? He's a reverse splits power hitter. Another lefty blast to right field. No doubt about it. Second to the spring. McMahon dealt with injuries last year, played 87 games, had 16 homers. If you prorate that to him staying healthy, you'd expect a 30 home run season for him. Here in the fifth, we have the third error for Javi Baez. And this was just the first 2 games that we had played in spring training. 2 throwing errors, 1 fielding error. When you see the ratings here, you're like, he's an elite defensive shortstop and he'll make some great plays. But the throwing accuracy isn't shown there. 55. That is a concern when it comes to him playing shortstop every day. The question becomes, will his great fielding skills make enough tough plays to offset the errors? And I'm really just not sure yet. But I'm planning on having him starting at shortstop anyway. Here's Ryan Castellani getting some innings. He pitched pretty much all last year at AAA, put up solid numbers. Going back to Adam Duvall here, taking a fastball low the other way and almost sending it into the bullpen. Very close to a home run. We added Pedro Strop in free agency, just trying to find more competition here for a reliever. And Strop had a pretty good outing here against the Mariners, picked up a couple strikeouts in this inning. We've talked about Javi Baez and the errors, but here's also what he's able to do at short. I know the throw isn't in time, but what he could control there, the range, the throw, really impressive. So that's going to be something to think about, I think, all season long. We could play him at second base, but is Rogers going to be like a significant enough upgrade at shortstop to do that? Raimel Tapia gets caught stealing at second, and then Javi Baez sends one out to left center field as the Rockies take a late inning lead. Obviously, the big reason we signed Baez is not for the defense, it's his bat. And we're hoping to see a lot of those home runs this season. In the 9th inning, with a 1-run lead, I wanted to see if Seranthony Dominguez could get the save. He has incredible velocity, a lot of break on his pitches, but similar to Touki Toussaint, control is not his strength, although his ratings are better in that department than Toussaint. The beginning of this inning took a lot of pitches, but this strikeout gave us 2 down, trying to get the last out to win the game. Dylan Moore at the plate ends up drawing the second walk of the inning. Mariners just need a base hit perhaps to go and tie the game. I considered taking him out of the game. If it were the regular season, I probably would have. But myself and the chat during the stream wanted to see if he could eventually end this inning. 30 plus pitches into this outing, full count with 2 away in the 9th. And Dominguez gets Luis Torrens looking at a fastball over the plate for strike 3. Took a lot more pitches than you would hope for there, but Dominguez does get the save. I wanted to get some highlights here of Adam Duvall, but it really wasn't easy. I wasn't hitting great with him and wasn't getting the best contact. Does hit lefties pretty well, gets a base hit off Dallas Keuchel. Here is Zach Veen, the Rockies' first round pick in 2020. and he is going to send one to the right center gap. Veen played well last season at AA, and this year he's going to be at AAA, not far away from making his major league debut. More Yonny Chirinos against the Diamondbacks as that pitch misses low. Chirinos with 2 aboard, and a Correa single into right field ends up bringing home a run for the Diamondbacks. Chirinos had some issues here getting outs in the first inning. Base hit to center. Arizona adds another one. The second inning would go a lot better for him, thankfully. Coming back in this at-bat against Charlie Culberson, and then he looks at a sinker over the outside corner. Chirinos ended up striking out the side in the second after that first inning, and I did enjoy pitching with him for the most part. There was some inconsistency, but I'm excited to see if he can become our 4th or 5th pitcher perhaps. I also got a few more innings with Touki Toussaint, and we were able to avoid really any major issues or long innings. There were a lot of quicker outs, and most of them were not leaving the infield, so it definitely felt better pitching with him here in the spring than last season, especially when we first traded for him. Toussaint trying to get through the 5th inning here. Cesar Hernandez looks at a curveball on the outside. The 0-1, inside corner with the fastball. Quickly ahead 0-2. Haven't had too many 0-2 counts with Toussaint. Really had some good control until this pitch that gets lined into right. Hernandez is not easy to strike out, but the control did feel a bit better for Toussaint, and hopefully those ratings just can come up. We'll take this one into the 6th inning. Brendan Rodgers going up the middle. That one grounds through. 2 on for the Rockies. And we'll face Kyle Freeland once again. Bases loaded for Zach Veen. 2-2 with a slider over the middle. Can't do much with it. He grounds out to end the inning. Rockies still can't get any runs. Brandon Gold here in the 6th. Nice changeup, gets the strikeout. Bottom of the zone. Rockies trying to get on the scoreboard though. Kyle Freeland pitches inside to Baez, and somehow this ends up a base hit. Not sure how that happened. Baez moves to second, and then Jose Peraza, the Rule 5 pickup, ends up lining one into left. Not a clean catch. We end up getting the run. Peraza, of course, set to be the utility player for us and play a bunch of different positions. Here's Ryan Castellani. Pretty good season a year ago. Good start to his spring training and a real chance to make the team. There's so much competition here at pitcher. I wasn't quite sure how the bullpen was going to look when this all began. But Castellani really impressed me, especially here in this outing against Arizona. Keeping the game 2-1. Garrett Hampson, top of the 8th. He'll pull this one into left field. It'll go all the way to the wall. Rockies with 2 in scoring position. Nobody out. Zach Veen with a chance to try and show that he's ready for the big leagues soon. He doesn't get a big hit, but it's a productive out. It ties the game. We no longer have Daniel Bard as our closer. I re-signed Michael Givens, wanting him to be the new closer. Grounder here, Rodgers trying to start a double play, and they'll get nobody out instead. Arizona trying to walk it off and take advantage of the error. Carson Kelly, 1-2, grounds it over to first base, and another error's going to load the bases. 2 potential inning-ending plays. That puts Givens in such a tough spot. 2 errors in a row. 1-2 to Tim LaCastro, and he'll chase it in the dirt for strike 3. A big second out. Then Charlie Culberson tries to put down a bunt and beat out the throw, but it's in time. We get out of the inning after all. That second out so critical. And now the game goes to extra innings. 2 aboard. Javi Baez, left center and hit well. Back and gone. 3-run homer. These big flies coming at a good time for Baez here in the spring. Again, he's now 29 years old, coming off a season with 22 home runs. He hit 29 back in 2019, 34 in 2018. I like to see him get into the 30s this year, that's for sure. Michael Givens now in line for the victory as he picks up a strikeout on Josh Van Meter, and Ketel Marte chases one low. Game over. Great outing from Givens, clutch home run from Javi Baez, fun win for the Rockies. Here's a matchup against the Chicago Cubs, again focused on Andrew Heaney. Last year, his Cy Young Award winning year, he went 16-5 as a starter, gave up 26 home runs in 190 innings, a 3.46 ERA, 1.31 whip, with a FIP of 3.79. I started 2 games with him here in the spring training, and they both felt really good. His control is there, a lot of swings and misses. He should have the best strikeout upside of anybody in our starting rotation. Over the past 5 years or so, he's basically been around 9 to 11 strikeouts per 9 innings. The home run ball could be a bit of an issue, especially playing in Coors. There were a fair amount of fly balls hit here in the spring, and you'd like to keep the ball down, obviously, in the regular season. But I'm really excited about him being our ace. Let's see some more Javi Baez here in the 6th against Cincinnati, and that's left right over the middle, and Baez will send this to left center field. Baez has pretty good speed. I also expect that he has a chance to lead the team in triples this season. 65 speed in that Coors outfield should be more than enough. Here's Zach Veen. Wanted to get some player lock action with him here. Showing some opposite field power, but not quite having it leave. Facing a pretty good pitcher too in Alex Wood. And again, hitting the ball hard, but just getting a little unlucky. Connor Blair at bat here in the 9th. Tyler Rogers looking for the save. And Blair hammers one to right field. And the save is blown just a few pitches into the inning. Blair, I want to say, played most of last year at the AA level. He's 63 overall, 23 years old. Might still be a couple years away, but he'll play this year at AAA to start things out. And here's a little bit of his potential on display. Nice opposite field home run. Now the Rockies trying to take the lead. Elias Diaz taking the curveball outside, and he's aboard. Then Casey Golden, another player who did well last year at the minor league level. 3-2, really having a strong at-bat against Tyler Rogers, and patiently waits for another curveball to miss. 2 on for Raimel Tapia. And he'll send one into right center field. It is playable, but missed. Didn't think that would happen. And then we almost get caught here at second base, but thankfully, bases now loaded. Walk-off opportunity. Jose Peraza. 2-0 count. A chance for these new players to make a strong first impression. Peraza deep left field. Back at the wall. Almost wins it with the grand slam. We'll settle for a game-winning sac fly instead. That was just a couple feet from leaving, but Peraza gets it done. Rockies with a nice 9th inning comeback. I really feel like this team has a high potential offense. Like, we should be much better at scoring runs this year. It's going to come down to how much of an upgrade we're going to have in the pitching department. This was the one big mistake Toussaint had here in the spring, as Jock Peterson takes him yard. But here's the very next at-bat against David Bodie. Curveball's over on the outside corner, then gets a chase on the splitter. 0-2, high fastball. 3-pitch strikeouts. So at least we're seeing some of that from Toussaint now. Here's Toussaint in the 8th. Runners at the corners. And this one's jammed into shallow right center. Cubs are going to test the arm of Zach Veen. The throw is perfect and in time to get the 3rd out of the inning. It won't take long before he's at the big league level. And we'll definitely spend some time in player lock games with him this year at AAA. We're trying to put together another late inning rally here. Brendan Rodgers, left center field. Seemed like everything I hit with him last year found a gap. He's on second base. Dom Nunez into center field, and Rodgers has enough speed to score from second, 3-2. So we go to Adam Duvall, trying to see if this new Rocky can come through with a big hit. With a tying run on first base. That's strike 3 swinging. Good slider on the outside. The game ends up coming down to Zach Veen, and he strikes out as well. Rockies can't pull it off this time as they lose 3-2. In the NFL, you see teams at times go with a hot hand approach at running back and just play who's ever playing well in the short term. And that's what I'm expecting to do in the outfield. Adam Duvall had a bad spring, a frustrating spring. Between him, Charlie Blackmon, Raimel Tapia, and Sam Hilliard, expect a lot of rotation there to figure out the corner outfielders. Todd Sinnegi, pinch hitting here in the 9th inning and sending one way back in left field. This one clears the scoreboard. Todd Sinnegi is going to be the AAA first baseman, and he's somebody that could eventually find himself on the bench as a primary pinch hitting power hitter like he did right here. Another player who had a legit chance to make the team but just didn't do enough is Colton Welker. When the roster expanded last year to 28, I called him up. Didn't see enough late last season or here in the spring for him to make the roster, especially when I'm seeing him not do a ton with very hittable pitches here. Didn't have a great average in the spring, so he's going to be the AAA third baseman. All in all, the Rockies were tied for last here in the Cactus League, 9-18, had an average-ish offense, hit 31 home runs, and by far the worst pitching out of any team by over a full point. Gave up the most runs, the most homers, and very few pitchers ended up having a good spring. I know I had some good gameplay to show you there, but when we were simming, we were getting annihilated. Andrew Heaney overall was not very good, but German Marquez was perhaps the worst pitcher on the team, allowing a 7.67 ERA in 27 innings, where he also allowed 11 home runs. Now that would be almost impossible to sustain. That's a ridiculously high rate, but we did not pitch well here in the spring. Michael Givens, he did a pretty good job, and a few others ended up with pretty solid numbers, but we gave up so many homers, way more than any other team. And if that doesn't get under control, this team isn't going to have a lot of improvement. My goal in year 2 is to win 70 games, which is more than 20 more than we won in season 1. And for us to get there, we need to get better pitching. I really feel like we can have at least an average offense this year. We've had so many players develop, big addition with Javi Baez, there's Adam Duvall. I think 1 through 9, our lineup is actually pretty good. But the pitching was league worst last season, by far league worst in the spring. So what does that mean, even though it looks better on paper? Well, we're going to find out soon when the games finally count. Opening day is coming up next. I want you to leave your predictions down below for our team record, perhaps the team MVP, and maybe a breakout player. Give me those 3 things. For me, I do feel we could get to 70 wins. I feel like Baez could be the MVP, and Brendan Rodgers is the breakout player, becoming more of a star. I think he has that kind of potential. But let's go through our final roster now. The starting rotation has no real surprises. Ryan Castellani ends up making the team. He could become a starter. We'll figure it out between him and Chichi Gonzalez. We have Scott Oberg back this year from injury. Sir Anthony Dominguez as perhaps the setup pitcher for Michael Givens. And then the starting lineup, I said I like it 1 through 9. I think that it's a good lineup. This team should get some runs. And then off the bench, we're better than we were a year ago. I really think so. And this season is going to open against the Arizona Diamondbacks, the teams that were 4th and 5th in the division. We start our first 7 games on the road and take on pretty much every team whose logo is the letter A here in April. Here at AAA, Derek Rodriguez will be in the starting rotation with Austin Gomber, Brandon Gold, Peter Lambert, and Antonio Santos. I feel like there is some potential in that starting rotation, and especially in this lineup. Casey Golden, Zach Veen, Colton Welker, Zach Borenstein was very good a year ago. I think you're going to see some of these players get called up pretty early, potentially. Down at AA, this is where I want Touki Toussaint to try and get some of these skills better. Toussaint needs to dominate before he moves up to AAA. And then we have Jacob Pearson. We have our first round pick from last year, David Geronimo. He's going to play in right field, and perhaps he could accelerate all the way to AAA in his first professional season. And at the single A level, a lot of players that we selected in the draft. There's a Dale Amador. I know a lot of you are excited about him. I'll probably want to get him called up to AA sooner than later so we can actually see him play. But he's 19 years old, want to be patient. He has B potential. I feel like this team is moving in the right direction. It's just all a matter of how much progress can we make. I definitely want to get a lot of this series up between now and Madden 22's release, so hopefully we can have a lot of fun here, a lot of episodes. I do plan on doing some streaming, probably later at night like I was doing for the spring, just player lock games and just getting random stuff I can throw into episodes here to have more to show you. And I'm looking forward to getting year 2 underway later this week with opening day against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Let me know what you thought of the spring training, everybody, and leave your thoughts on the upcoming season down below. Please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and have a great day.